Abdul al-Sayed, Rashida Tlaib, among the 18 arrested at the Fight for 15 rally in Detroit. Former gubernatorial candidate Abdul al-Sayed and future 13th District Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, I know I'm mispronouncing that name, and I apologize, were among 18 people cited for disorderly conduct at a rally today by Detroit fast food and other workers. Also, there's a big protest planned in Chicago on behalf of fast food workers with the Poor People's Campaign and the Fight for 15. That is going on today in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, do it to it. The demonstrators were taken into custody outside the McDonald's on Woodward in Detroit's Midtown, where about 400 people gathered to demand the company and others to allow workers to unionize. We've got people who are working 40-hour weeks and can't afford basic things like car insurance, a car, access to housing, and water, and I just don't believe that we can advocate for work when work doesn't pay, and so we have to make sure work pays, al-Sayed said from the window of a Detroit police prison bus. I don't believe anyone should have to go working 40 hours without making a fair wage. Isn't it sad we have to say this? In the richest country in the world. Isn't it sad that we have to have the message, if you are working 40 hours a week at an honest job, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. You deserve to make a living wage. You deserve to survive. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's an honest job and you're working 40 hours a week, you deserve to make a living wage. It's unbelievable we need to say that. It's unbelievable that that's not general consensus. And why isn't it general consensus? Because people have been conditioned to turn against each other. Workers have been conditioned to turn against each other. You see these memes, well, an EMT only makes $15 an hour. You're telling me that somebody that works in fast food should make the same amount that an EMT makes? You're telling me that? First of all, working in fast food, working in any food, is incredibly hard. That's incredibly hard work. So, yes, that person should make a living wage. They should make at least $15 an hour. Underline the at least part. And an EMT should be paid a fuckload more. When people make that point, you're not making the point that you're pointing out the fact that EMTs are underpaid. I think, is it fair to say that I think an EMT person, so, and this isn't to bash fast food workers at all, because I think an EMT should be making more than I make. A lot more than I make. They don't. They should. And they should make more than a fast food. I think that's fine. Because when you're an EMT, you have to save lives. So yeah, I think it's fair that somebody who is an EMT should be compensated very well. They are grossly underpaid. And you can find the meme I'm talking about, and if you find it, feel free to tweet it at me. I'll bring it up real quick. Where they have an EMT, and they're saying, an EMT where you're saying somebody that flips burgers should get paid the same. First of all, there's nothing wrong with flipping burgers, A. And by the way, if you've ever worked in fast food, you can tell anybody, and I never have, but I know a lot of people that have, there's a lot more involved than flipping burgers, first of all. So that's a very condescending way to put it in the first place. And second of all, yes, that person should get paid a living wage, and an EMT should be making a fuckload more than $15 an hour. I mean, that meme is just so condescending and misleading on so many levels, and missing the point by a mile. Hey, because of our broken system, here's a group of people that are grossly underpaid for what they do. So we should demonize other workers, right? No, we should say everyone should get living wages, and that EMT should be getting even more. An EMT should be making way more money than they make typically. It's unbelievable how underpaid they are. But the solution is not, let's demonize other workers. The solution is, they should get more too. Anyway, I know I'm really preaching to the choir and kind of over-harping the point, but that one just bothers me. There's just something about that one that really pisses me off. Al-Sayed was among a group sitting at a table set up on the street that police say refused to leave the area. Deputy Police Chief Elvin Barron said they would be issued citation for disorderly conduct. The Detroit rally and a separate morning rally in Flint were part of a day-long strike by fast food workers at McDonald's, Burger King's, and Wendy's. Red shirts worn by the demonstrators included a list of demands: $15 minimum wage, good union jobs, healthcare for all, and safety and justice for our neighborhood. You don't deserve anything less than better working conditions, than not having to live in poverty. You can earn $15. These corporations are making billions off our backs. Don't you ever think that you're not allowed to ask for more. That's from Tlaib. And again, I apologize that I'm mispronouncing their name, because I know I am. So, to end the week on a little optimism, people are protesting, people are striking, and we are seeing some results. And in the short term, that's the only way change is going to happen. That is the only way. Or at the very least, the main way that change is going to happen. So, I'm glad to see stuff like this. It makes me a little more optimistic. And I want to support it the best that I can. I was sent a few press releases today, or earlier this week, and I know that over in Chicago, the Fight for 15 and the Poor People's Campaign are protesting for fast food workers' rights. And you can find the Poor People's Campaign online, Poor People's Campaign, the Fight for 15, and if you're able to, I recommend getting involved with those movements. Because, again, the solution I see to, kind of reiterate what we started with the theme for today's show, we got to start progressive coalitions, similar to what Gail McLaughlin did. We have to have cause-based initiatives that are loud, and we have to have a rise in labor. Because that's the only way we're going to get our next FDR. Maybe it's going to be Bernie, maybe it's going to be somebody else, I don't know. But that's the only way we're going to get our next FDR. Because FDR wouldn't have done what he did if he didn't have all this pressure from all those groups. If he didn't have that pressure from labor, from the communist and socialist parties that used to exist in this country before McCarthyism stamped them out. That's why it's good what the DSA is doing. And they're taking on causes too. They're not just focused on electoral politics. They're focused on other stuff too.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your